I'm coming. Hit finish.
Oh, here.
Hi there, this is Mark Alyn, and this is Mark Alyn Cooks Your Dinner. We're really excited today. We're going to go to Chicago, and we are going to speak with a young chef and food stylist today that is going to knock your socks off. And because it's starting to get cold here in California, it was 85 degrees last week, and it's 71 here in Ventura County, where I am. We're going to go do this show. We're going to have a lot of fun, and I'll introduce our guest in just a couple of moments. I will be right back. All right, now we're really live, and now we're going to go to our opening. We'll be back in just a second. All right, we are back and here. If you have comments for us throughout the show, questions about what we're doing, we want to hear from you. And we ran a survey, and we're asking people, if you're watching live right now, to let us know what time and what day would be better for you for this show, because we are live. And beginning today, we should be live on LinkedIn, as well as on Facebook, 2 pages on Facebook, and YouTube, and now LinkedIn. So if you're watching on LinkedIn, let us know. We'd really appreciate that. I'm going to bring our guest in right now. Her name is Lissa Levy, and I have known Lissa literally all of her life. Her mother swapped me for a plate of pastrami when she was born. I was there a couple of hours after she was born, and I brought in a platter of food, and I wasn't apparently carrying it right, Lissa. And so your mom said, "Here, hold this." And so Heidi took the platter of food, and Lissa literally is the youngest person I've ever held in my arms other than my own kids. Lissa, welcome to Mark Alyn Cooks Your Dinner. Yeah.
Maybe you can hear me. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm muted. Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to lay my eyes on you. And
it's been years, hasn't it?
It's awesome.
And I have to say that Lissa's parents were around, and we had lunch with them the other day and walked in a park. We had a lot of fun. We haven't seen them in a long time either. I'm holding a glass of wine, and you're holding a glass of wine. So let's toast.
Cheers.
Cheers. I am drinking a Chateau Saint Michelle Riesling. It's dry with a touch of sweet. There's a lot of fruitiness in this. I think it will go very well with what we're making. And this is a soup that you've created, Lissa?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So this is a squash soup. And honestly, I'm not a squash person, but I've been told by her father, Jeff, that this is an amazing dish. So
yeah, you might get converted.
Yes, exactly. What kind of wine are you drinking? And then we'll start cooking.
I'm drinking a Gruner Veltliner, which is an Austrian wine, and it's characterized by a sort of tart apple flavor, and then it's got a peppery finish on the end. And I think that as we go through the ingredients, you'll see why I've chosen such a wine.
Got it. I wish I had some of that too. Okay, we're going to start. I'm going to go back here to our cooking area. We're going to start. This is an easy recipe, by the way. It will take a little bit of time, but we're going to start by putting in some olive oil. We'll have a recipe that I've modified very little, and I'm going to turn on the heat, and we'll heat that up, and then we'll come back over here, and I'll show you our main ingredients. Here's our first one, and you can have Lissa up too. And our first one is this. which is,
You want me to
yeah,
say?
this is, I couldn't find,
You mean the star of the show? Is it? Oh, the squash.
yeah, this is a butternut squash.
Yeah.
And you can see that. And we cut it into small pieces. We'll probably put most of that in there. We have
Yeah.
fennel over here that we've cut. We have a medium carrot that I've sliced up. One of my favorite things is onion. I was going to ask you, I did get a yellow onion, but I usually use a sweet onion. Do you, what's your preference? Or is it?
Well, for this application, you want an onion that's going to hold up a little bit better than a sweet onion. Sweet onion is really great for raw applications and for caramelizing. And the yellow onion is like your workhorse all-purpose onion. It's going to hold up a little bit better as you're cooking it. Sort of like the difference between a russet potato and a Yukon Gold potato. The Yukon Gold is going to hold up just a little bit better in a long application.
All right, I'm going to come back over here to the cooking area, and I'm going to put in, I think there's 3 cloves of chopped garlic. And normally I would use a garlic press, but I just chopped it this time because we are going to puree this later on.
Yeah, so I do want to say that a lot of these ingredients, because we are ultimately going to puree things, the chops don't necessarily have to be that precise.
Got it.
This is the kind of thing where you can just kind of go for it. And that is a lovely feeling in the kitchen, especially if you're nervous about cooking. This is a kind of recipe that you can adapt. You can go big, go small. You could blend some of it. You could blend all of it. You could, there are many, many ways to adapt. It's
All
a
right.
really
We're gonna put in the squash now, and this is a butternut squash. And you can hear that. Can you hear that? Oh. So I'm assuming I should coat this with the oil.
definitely coat it, and definitely get those onions and fennel in there.
Oh, I'll do that too?
Mm-hmm.
And the onion too?
Yep. Because you want to sort of sweat everything down. The squash is going to start cooking now, but what you're trying to do is release the sugars of the onion and the fennel now.
Got it. All right, let's stir that up. Now, when we have our recipe posted, we'll also have a salad that Lissa has made. And this how long should this take to kind of cook down a little bit?
Well, you got a lot going on in that pot. So I'm going to say, we're going to look at it in about 3 to 4 minutes. You stir it occasionally. When those onions start to get translucent, then we'll go ahead and you could actually add the carrots now too.
Ah, the carrots too.
And then once those onions are translucent, then we're going to pop in that rice.
Okay.
We'll talk through that.
My brilliant camera operator, technical person, has 3 shots up on the screen. It's amazing. Thank you. Now, I'm always confused a little bit, and I may put oil in, a little bit more oil than recipes call for, because I want it to cook, and without the oil, it won't cook.
Well, that's not strictly true.
Very good, right?
What oil does is it's like a 360-degree pan that can, that's working on all the surfaces of your food.
Right.
So the more you have, sometimes the better. And also, fat is delicious.
This is cooking so loudly, I can't hear you. Hold on.
Okay.
By the way, you were there. The pastrami that we had at your, I guess, when you were born, was
At my
much
birth.
better than the pastrami I had the other day with your folks. And I can
Well,
remember that as if it were yesterday. I just wanted you to know that.
thank you. Thank you for telling me. I am glad to know that newborn pastrami is the pastrami of choice.
Got it. Okay, here we go. We have a comment here from Heidi. Um, Great
Hey,
camera
Mom.
work, Carol. Thank you. And Denise Anderson is saying it's a perfect day for soup.
Yeah.
And butternut squash, she loves it, especially zucchini and pumpkin. We will not be doing pumpkin recipes because I'm not a pumpkin guy. Well, my head maybe, but and I look like a jack-o'-lantern, but I'm not a pumpkin guy. The best pumpkin I remember ever having was when I worked in college. I worked at thrifty drugstores, and they came out with pumpkin ice cream for Thanksgiving, and that's great, right? Um, and that was delicious. I really, really liked it. I haven't, pumpkin pie, apple pie. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. And I keep misplacing this. All right. All right. While this is cooking, and we'll give it a couple moments, let's find out what a food stylist really does. Uh, when I got into video production years ago, stylists would come in and they would take hairspray and put it on something to make it look shiny and appetizing. They would do all kinds of ucky. They'd use mineral oil too. Um, Mary Seguin agrees. Thank you, Mary. We appreciate that. Hi, Mary. And I'll toast to Mary. Carol and I are sharing one glass of wine because I forgot to buy wine. Anyway, and there she goes, taking the wine away from me right now. Um, what does a food stylist do?
Okay, well, a food stylist is really there to present the most beautiful version of a food. So you're going to see that work in a magazine. You're going to see it on the packages of the products you buy in the store. You're going to see it in menus. You're going to see it on TV. You're going to see it all over the place. And if we've done our job, you won't even notice that you're seeing it. It'll just seem like the food. So,
One of my favorite commercials with food is a chocolate. I mentioned it, Lind, Lindt. It's a German or Austrian chocolate, and while it's not necessarily my favorite, the food styling on that commercial, on those commercials, is just magnificent. Okay.
it makes you want to reach to the screen and grab the chocolate and pour it into your mouth.
Well, it's like
Right?
those chocolate fountains at a bar mitzvah.
Right,
You want to
right.
stick your
That's
head
what you
under
want.
it, right?
That's what you want.
I'm going to go stir.
Yeah, sure. So do you want
How
me to keep talking about food styling or you want to focus on the recipe? Those onions are looking pretty close.
did you become a chef before you became a food stylist?
It was a concurrent adventure. So I found out about the job of food stylist in my mid-20s, and I thought, oh, that sounds really cool for someone else sometime in their life. And then I found myself between jobs in a new city in Chicago, and I thought, you know what? It's time for me to become a food stylist. Either that or I'll open a fine dining restaurant, right? So I went to culinary school and I learned very quickly that restaurant life is not for me. I knew that I wanted to have a family. I knew that working in a kitchen was going to bring out all the worst aspects of my personality. It's the kind of work that I'm not really suited for. It's just a little too stressful and a little too crazy. but I am very patient and I am very detail oriented. And I have a very strong theater and production background. So being on set for me is very familiar, very lovely. And working with food is wonderful and meditative. And so spending an afternoon taking a nail file to a set of crackers to make sure that they're perfectly shaped is exactly what I want to be doing.
Wow. See, I don't have that patience. I love to talk about food. I've interviewed all kinds of chefs over the last number of years, and it's very easy for me to talk about food. I grew up not on fine dining. You had parents who really cook well. That's it, Carol.
Yeah.
And
yes, they were so adventurous in the kitchen, and it was
yes,
real.
and they still are.
Absolutely, yeah.
We should have your dad come on. He does bread. I don't know if we do bread on the show, but they do. Your mom does lamb.
I know. My parents are amazing.
They are. I'm going to core an apple. Let me show you coring an apple. This is an apple corer, and it's pretty simple. You push it in. This is a Granny Smith apple. You twist it, and theoretically, I've cored the apple. Theoretically. All right, what am I doing wrong, Lissa?
Well, I don't use an apple core actually. I cut it in half and I cut the core out as I'm chopping the apple. So
I thought I was going to be so.
You have to go all the way down to the bottom?
Yeah, I did. I thought. All right, we'll try it again. There we go. Now it'll come out. All right, look at that, everybody.
Right.
Thanks, Lissa.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful.
All right, that's good. And we got most of it. I'm going to take my knife. I'm going to cut it in half. And I believe, and we've got some core in there. Not much. I hear the medley back there.
Yeah. So take that smaller half and turn it upside down so that it doesn't oxidize while you're working.
Okay.
And now put it aside because you're going to use
Put
that.
Put this aside or the bigger side?
The one you just put face down, put that aside.
Got it.
Now you're going to chop that one, but
Got
you
it.
want to peel it first.
I'm going to take a little bit more of the core out.
All right, I'll allow it.
And do I need to peel it?
Yeah, you should, because even though you're going to blend it in your amazing Vitamix, you just don't need that extra little bit of fiber.
All right, let's see if the peeler will work. It will. And you don't have to peel all of it. Some of the peel can stay on.
Some of it can do, yeah. This is
unless you're on TV.
Well, yeah, if you're doing my job, it better be perfect. But you're doing your job. This is great.
Put something under the cutting. Mary is asking me to put something under the cutting board.
Oh, she wants you to put a damp paper towel so that your cutting board doesn't slide around.
This is a...
Just like your son, Chef Josh.
Yes.
A towel underneath.
I just learned that. Thank you, Carol. And Mary, and I didn't know. This has grips, which is why I didn't do it. All right, I think that's good.
Okay, now you could just rough chop that sucker and throw it in the pot.
Say that one more time.
Just go ahead and rough chop that sucker.
Got it.
Throw it in the pot.
I believe that the chefs who cut real fast on TV are being speeded up.
Some, but probably not as much as you think. That, you know, just like any musician can learn to play fast by technique, chefs can learn to cut fast by technique. So you start slow and precise, and then you gradually increase your speed.
Well, this show is for home cooks. We have a lot of people. I'm going to just take it in my hands like this,
Yes.
dump it in there, take a little bit more, and then I'll stir that up in a minute. And these are people who have never found their kitchen. They didn't know where it was. They may be, maybe they're divorced. Maybe they've been single. It's still,
Yeah. I love it because you can have a yummy meal without a lot of fuss, and that's what I love about this recipe. Is very adaptable, and it's very forgiving. So you just sort of do what you kind of think is right, and it's probably fine.
we have another. We have two things to add. We have a couple more things to add. I just added the apple. We're going to add some sage. I was going to show some sage leaves right here.
Before you do that,
yes,
add in that stock.
Add
the stock so that
the stock.
Yep. Because we're done with the part where we're releasing the sugars.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So I have some Pacific food stock. This is vegetarian stock, vegetable stock. There, I think that'll be good. Pacific Foods, if you're watching, you should be advertising with us. We could talk about that, okay? I have no compulsions. I'm self-promoting, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do
So let's stir that up.
That's right. So you're going to bring that to a boil and then just reduce to a simmer, cover it, and just let it go until everything's just really, really soft.
I turn the heat up, and I should cover it?
Yeah, and then you talk about the sage leaves and the spices, and then we'll get it in there.
Got it. All right, we'll cover that. Do that. We'll put the sage in, and there's cayenne in here too. We have salt and pepper to add as well. I've been to Chicago numerous times. I love the food in Chicago. If you could get me a sample from the Purple Pig, I would really appreciate that. It's a wonderful restaurant in downtown. I don't know if you've been there. It's one of my favorite places that I've ever eaten. There are. Are you a hot dog person, Lissa?
Yes, but I'm also gluten intolerant, so it makes it really rough to eat.
Got it. By the way, everything we're doing today is gluten-free.
Yeah.
Right? It is gluten-free. Yes. All eyes are on me, Mark. Thank you, Mary. I hope you come back, because next week we have a psychic who's going to cook with us a cauldron of fondue, okay, as we get ready for Halloween. Years ago, I was in Chicago visiting Carol's grandparents, and I had the fortune of meeting Mr. Fluky. Fluky's is a hot dog chain. I mean, the original Mr. Fluky. And we had lunch. It was terrific at one of his stores. And Grandpa Bernstein knew him for 60 years. I mean, and it's still the best hot dog I've ever had. And it's a Vienna hot dog.
Soul to it, of course.
Yeah, no, it was just really terrific. Another sip of wine.
All right, I'll join you.
Okay. So we're letting that boil for a while. I haven't added the rice yet, right? We have a little bit of rice to add.
Yeah, you should.
I should. Okay.
That was a good one.
So it is starting to boil.
So throw that rice in there and then reduce to a simmer.
Lissa, say that one more time.
Put the rice in and then reduce the boiling to a simmer.
Got it. Now, I thought this was for thickening. You were explaining to me I was wrong.
Yes.
How much?
Actually,
Is that a good amount? Can you see? That's like 1 tablespoon.
Yeah, tablespoon's about right.
More or not?
No, that should be plenty. For the amount you have, it should be plenty. So yeah, what this is all about is if you're making a vegan soup and you want to mimic that creamy, silky mouthfeel, you add some white rice. It has to be white rice. It could be any kind of white rice, short grain, long grain, it doesn't matter.
This was a long grain organic white rice.
Delicious.
And
just to have all of the bran removed, which is what makes it a white rice.
Got it. Earlier, I'd asked Lissa if we could use brown rice flour because I thought it was for thickening, and it's not. It's for that mouthfeel, and mouthfeel is really important. People don't even realize, like in ice cream, it's more than the taste of the ice cream. It's that mouthfeel that we all are looking for, then the taste. And there are Japanese cuisine is all about mouthfeel. It's all about texture. So it's you learn all kinds of things. Should I put in the sage yet?
Well, if you want to show it off, then show it off now, and then throw it in.
Let me show you the sage. It's right here. And this is organic sage, and we got that at Sprouts Markets. It's how would you describe sage? It's earthy.
It's
to me.
Earthy. It's herby, and it's a little bit piney.
Interesting. I'm gonna. Yeah, and I taste the pine because it's raw. I would not recommend doing this at home. I am a professional. Don't try this at home.
That's right. You need a stunt taster.
Yes, exactly. The recipe because we have a lot of soup there. I'm going to throw in 6 leaves. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. Save a couple for garnish, but yeah.
I'm sorry?
Save a couple for garnish, but yeah.
Okay. And we have that half of apple also for garnish.
Yeah, we're coming back to that for sure.
All right, put that in. Now, this is all cooking, and I haven't reduced the heat because the squash is still chunky. So we're going to go a little bit long, I can tell. But that's okay.
It's worth it. It'll be worth it.
When do I put in the cayenne?
You could put that in kind of any time.
All right. So I'm going to use crushed red pepper rather than just straight powdered cayenne. I did it. I'm doing it for 2 reasons. If I'm doing a soup or a sauce with oregano and some others, I like to use leaf rather than powdered. And the reason for that is if you put powdered oregano into like a tomato sauce, it can make it gray. And it's not appetizing. Whoops, where's my, oh, there. So forgetful. All right, here we go. Take this off. And I have a measurer. I'm going to add a healthy amount. That's about a teaspoonful. Cayenne is spicy.
Yes.
So,
and if you're a spice wimp like me, you would not add that much.
Yes. Oh, you don't like spicy?
No, I feel it on both ends, and it's not that great.
Okay. That's TMI, but that's okay.
We're all friends here. Look, you helped me as a baby. You know, how much more information?
Whoa. And we should cover this again, right?
Yes.
Okay. So our next step will be to put that into our food processor, blend it, and it should be soup, and then we'll
Yeah.
taste it.
You know, salt and pepper it to taste, but wait till after you've blended it to do that.
Gotcha. What is the most exciting food that you've ever food styled? And if you do caviar, I want to be there.
Well, I've done fake caviar on the set of Empire. Yeah, real caviar I haven't done.
So the rumor is that, and also your favorite food. I understand you like baby pandas roasted. Is that true? Or
well, they're so tender. You know, they get tenderized as they clumsily roll down a hill.
Got it.
So they're delicious. It's really hard to say.
We're kidding. We're kidding. No pandas have been harmed on this show.
This is a vegan show.
Yes, today is a vegan show. What is your favorite food?
Oh, it's so hard to say. I mean, you've got this artichoke background, and you and I were talking earlier this week. I also love artichokes. I'll pretty much find any excuse. If there's an artichoke on a menu, I'll find any excuse to order it. I almost don't care what else it comes with. That's what I want.
We've done a couple. We've done a stuffed artichoke and a grilled artichoke.
Yum.
Didn't we do, what did we stuff it? Oh, shrimp. We stuffed it with shrimp.
Oh, interesting.
And Judy Siegel, can you puree it in an immersion blender?
Great question. Yes, you can. I hate using them. So if you like using an immersion blender, go for it. But I will never, because I just hate it so much.
You don't like, what is an immersion blender? I don't even know what that is.
It's a stick blender. You put it right into.
Oh, got it.
And you buzz. But I find that it splatters, and I find that I don't get as like clean and silky of a puree as if I just put it in the blender.
Years ago on set, I was hosting something, and we had an immersion blender, a stick blender is what I call it, and the production assistant started it, okay, in between. He ended up at the ER, took a chunk.
Yeah.
He'd never used one before.
Yeah, and that blade is not guarded.
Yeah, doesn't taste good.
It sounds like a terrible thing.
Oh, it was awful. It was terrible. Let's give this just one more minute, and then we'll start putting it into the blender.
That sounds good.
Now, at the end of each show, I forgot. You and I had talked. I wanted to add a splash of cream sherry because I just think it would work.
Sure,
what do you think? Good. Okay.
I think it's going to give you a tiny bit of a French onion kind of aftertaste, but as I said, this is an adaptable recipe, so do what you want. If you feel it, do it.
And this is Harvey's. I've been using this in cooking for years. I make mushrooms with this, and to me, it's just great. I can eat a whole pile of that. I don't need the meat. And Harvey's is from Spain. Most sherries are from Spain. When we were in Spain, I olived and sherried out, and cavad out too, which is a sparkling wine. We've featured that here on the show too. All right, I'm just going to put a splash in. Just a splash. There we go. And I think we have everything else in here. We'll move that there. Move that there. I'm going to stir that around. Okay. This is going to be great, I can tell.
Yeah, it's looking like everything's softening up really nicely.
So I'm going to turn that off.
Do it.
And I'm going to go over here, and we have a ladle. After we puree it, it's still going to be hot. I'm just going to, do we need to put it back in the pot?
If you're trying to keep it warm, then yes.
Okay.
But it should be fine. But what you want to make sure though is that you're tasting it after the puree so that you can add the amount of salt that you care for.
Got it. Do I add the salt?
I would add it after the puree because right now you might not have equal portions of everything. So once the soup is all pureed and then put back together,
Then I should add the salt and the pepper.
Yeah, then taste, then add salt and pepper. Always taste.
I don't cook with a lot of salt. My mother didn't. And there's a lot of natural salt in just about everything.
Yeah, you might not need it for this recipe if you're already a low sodium guy. There might be plenty of it in that broth.
What, Carol?
There's probably salt in the broth. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was low sodium. I got a low sodium.
Well, just taste it then and see if you care for it.
Okay. Now, I'm going to try it. I'm going to pour some of the broth in here too. And there. Okay.
Okay, how's your level on that carafe? Pretty good. Okay. Yeah, I think you're safe.
All right. Put that there. And we'll get the cover. We have a lot of wires around here and cables in our kitchen. And I hurt my pinky. Okay, here we go. We're going to turn it on. We'll turn it on. And turn it off. I think I did it. We'll see.
I mean, it's looking pretty pureed to me.
Yeah, me too. Now, if you look here, Carol, it's so high. I want everybody to see the steam coming off out of here. I'll tilt that.
I can see it.
Huh?
I can see it.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, turn it the other way.
Which way? This way. No, this way.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
But as soon as you do
And you could try the other camera too. It's a little higher, I think.
Trump has a couple of remarks.
I'm sorry?
Rick Trump has a couple of remarks.
Okay. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take my spoon. It's creamy, folks, okay, without cream. Now, when we first started, I tasted something right out of the pot, Lissa.
Yeah.
I burned my mouth.
Oh no!
Yes. On camera. I did the hot tongue dance.
Yeah. Hush, 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 hush.
Yeah. Oh. Oh. That's good. I don't think it needs either pepper or salt.
Okay. So you've been converted to a squash guy, huh?
I think you have.
All
All
right,
right.
so you gotta put it in a bowl, and now we'll talk about garnish, and then you can.
That is really nice. So we have a garnish. Now, if I were, I should do this like this. There.
Oh, look at you, fancy.
Well, we try.
Yeah, love
Okay.
it.
Let me move this out of the way.
Okay, so now you're gonna make some matchsticks out of that other apple half.
All right.
So that's plenty. Yeah, plenty for one bowl.
Okay.
And then go ahead and just make them into little matchsticks.
Okay.
You got your slices. You'll cut them the other way. All right, then just sprinkle them on there on your soup.
And what about the sage?
And then the sage, you're gonna take those 2 little leaves and you'll just cut them into little tiny ribbons.
I took off the little stem on that one. And just like that?
Yep. And then just take a few of those little ribbons and sprinkle them on your soup. And you're good.
Okay. All right, here we go, folks. As we all know, I do like my own cooking. Oh. Yes, you made me a squash soup person.
Yes.
You have. This is delicious. I've done it again. Well, Lissa's did it, but you know what I mean.
Like, take the credit, man. Take it. Take the credit. You put the sherry in, right? So, you know.
And then, yes.
Oh, this is your recipe.
It's our recipe. How's that?
Love it.
Rick Crump just joined us. That looks like it tastes like a delicious bowl of autumn. And it is. It's just perfect for the fall.
He also thought it was a healthy splash. Look up.
And Denise says it looks absolutely, looks fabulous. It tastes better than it looks. And with the wine, it's even better. I got to go back for another one. Let me grab a piece of apple and some sage. Oh, this is really nice. Lissa, thank you. Hey, will you come back sometime?
Anytime you want me, I'll be back.
All right. I know it's a lot of work for this, huh? But we really appreciate it.
You don't work if you love what you do.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I like to talk. And I like to eat almost as much as I like to talk.
Perfect.
Join Lissa Levy at lissalevy.com. And I thank you all for watching. Send this out to your friends, please. We'd really appreciate that. We do this every week. We're trying to find a great time to do this. We were doing it on Tuesday. We moved to Wednesday. We have Joshua Siegel now and Heidi Nickerson. How do we do, Heidi? And I have to say that Heidi Nickerson's married name is Heidi Nickerson Levy. She's the mommy of Lissa and the woman who traded her daughter for a platter of pastrami.
Who could blame her? Who could blame her?
Yeah, exactly.
Also, Josh is my husband.
I'm sorry?
Josh Siegel is my husband.
Ah, Josh.
And Rudy is my mother-in-law. And Mary is my colleague. It's been a whole thank you. And Rick is my friend. Oh my God, so many people that you said are.
Well, this is really terrific. Thank you very much. Over the next week, we'll have a lot more people watching this, not live. But thank you very much. I know we've gone a little bit over time, but it's okay. This is fabulous. Thank you, Lissa. We'll do it again very soon.
right, take
She's
care.
gonna
Thanks so
hate
much
me.
for having me.
Listen, Carol, thank you for all the great camera work. And thank you for watching. Again, if you have an idea for a recipe, if you have an idea for a product you want us to feature, let us know. You've got my email. It's markalyncooks@gmail.com. I like to thank everybody here. Like to thank the people at Imagine BC and, of course, the people at podclips.io. I'm Mark Alyn for Carol, for Lissa. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now. With a psychic. Wow. Oh, I should mention her name. Linda Savin. Linda Salvin will be here cooking fondue in a cauldron for Halloween. Bye-bye for now.